Hi, I'm Caroline,
I'm Kendra.
and today we'll be doing a movie review on A Midwife's Tale directed by Richard Rogers, and the first thing we'll be talking about is storytelling and plot.
So I think for the fact that they were trying to do a documentary and a movie together, the storytelling was not very good, and there wasn't like a distinct like beginning, middle, and end. It kind of just picked up on like random parts of her life. I mean, like more so there was like the middle and the end, but there was no like start to it, and I feel like it didn't really like introduce us to her. It kind of was just like she's a boring midwife and this is what she does, and I was kind of like okay. Like there wasn't like, I mean, I guess the whole plot was that she was boring, but it was just not very good in terms of like cinematic storytelling. I feel like as a documentary it would have been good, but the fact that she tried to like do the whole movie thing didn't really like pan out very well.
And just the fact that the plot itself from the piece of the diary were mostly chronological, but there wasn't a central conflict that moved the story forward. It was just picking sort of motifs from the diary, and it would have been more effective if they isolated those motifs as different types of conflicts or created one central conflict, just to make it more interesting or appealing and diving deeper into Martha Ballard's life other than what was just on the pages of the diary, because she focused so much on what was actually there but didn't take the time to create a story. And typically in documentaries that I watch, there are multiple people with multiple perspectives, and the way that they talk about the person they're researching is as if they know them personally, and she really didn't do that, so there wasn't as much of the appeal from her side or from our side on Martha Ballard, because she just spoke about her life matter-of-factly and didn't want to create a added struggle or conflict that would have been better in terms of telling a story.
What is the next one is character development. So for me, I don't think she went through much character development. Like she had some conflicts, like, you know, the fact that she had to move houses, and so that like kind of messed with her like midwifing business, I guess, and like her husband going to jail. But other than that, like she didn't go through very much. Like I said before, she kind of we just kind of were plopped in the middle of her life, and it kind of just played her out getting old, and it was like, okay. And we also didn't have any other characters like viewpoints of her life or of their life or what she was like, so kind of really we didn't see much development out of her, I feel. It was kind of just very matter of fact like what was going on in her life, and I think that was really kind of hurtful for the movie aspect of the documentary, because we had we didn't get attached to this character because we didn't see her go through very much. So I think that's really
and I just think that it showed her throughout her life as she aged, but she didn't overcome something extreme or something that again drove the plot, so she therefore did not have much development throughout the story because it was just from her perspective and her diary. And other characters are mentioned and their emotions are mentioned throughout the diary, but they didn't expand on them, and they could have explained how well Martha was a part of their life and how that interacted in possible conflicts or emotions that they had to at least make her more relatable and appealing, despite the time difference, that she might have been more relatable to many women nowadays if they had just expanded on her emotions a little bit more. Even though they don't necessarily know, they could definitely do some subtext added in the diary that could enhance the character development of Martha Ballard.
Oh yeah. I completely agree. There was just no, like, it just didn't, there was no character development. Like it was very little. So it was just like,
and the last thing we're talking about is editing and pacing. This movie was comparatively very short. It was about an hour and a half compared to The New World that we watched earlier, which was almost 3 hours long. However, because of the lack of relatability of the character and the lack of storytelling and plot, it was just very slow, especially with having the documentary and then trying to put parts of it as if it is a movie without the writer speaking over it. It didn't mesh very well, and it added to the slow feeling of the movie.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I feel like this movie was really drawn out, way more than it should have been. With the like movie aspect, I feel like the clips that they showed were really drawn out, and there was like not much that was going on, and the jumping between the like actual like the movie part and the documentary part was also like not very tasteful, like the way that they did it, I feel. And I really just think it dragged for how long the movie was. They could have made it more entertaining for viewers, or at least the editing a little bit better, but they just made it drag very, very long.
Overall, I think that the point that was trying to come across was made as of the fact that they only had documentation of women in very mundane circumstances. However, they could have taken those mundane circumstances and made it a much more interesting film that would make it a lot more of a greater story of this person and of the time that she lived in and the oppression that she faced during that time.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, for it being a documentary about a midwife and like having that be one of the only things that we see from that time period for a woman, it definitely like works like for educational purposes, but like I don't think somebody would take time out of their day to go watch this movie. But like showing it in schools is definitely good. But yeah, for like cinematically, like the documentary aspect, great. Cinematically, I think it could have done way better as a movie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you.